Okay, here's what we did for the covering up the engine on the Can-Am Commander for both sound and heat control. There's the size I used, and the part number 60 by 36. I ended up using of these rolls. This is how they come, like kind of wrinkled up, but they work just fine. The stuff is actually, let me show you real quick here. Here's a little piece. The stuff is like a, let's see if we can show you here. It's got like a black tar back, and once it sticks, it's kind of like tar on there afterwards. So it works out pretty good. It's not too thick. You can see it's pretty thin stuff, but it does seem to be really good working stuff. I used 2 of those boxes, and this is what I had left after doing all these pieces here. And it's some scrap. So that's if you're really conservative. I did open up the 3rd box just because I wanted to do some stuff on the Can-Am. The pieces I did are clutch cover or whatever, so I did that cover for there. Did all the sides. That's one piece that I did that whole thing, which was pretty exciting to do a couple of days. Then we got the under the driver's seat. That's the storage box and everything under the driver's seat. And then you got by the driver's right knee going along the side. That one's pretty much right over the exhaust. Then you have under the center console, definitely over the engine and exhaust, the cup holder right there and everything. Then you got the passenger left knee, and then you got under the passenger seat where the fuel tank is. So I went ahead and covered all that, and that circles there is where the oil dipstick is. And then this one's just in front of the passenger feet by the left foot of the passenger towards the center. I went ahead and covered that one up just for extra sound and noise. Didn't really need to. So you could actually have that much left over and do something else. The things on this one I did is, let's just take a closer look at this. This is under the passenger seat. You can see I did one, how I did this. You can't really do it all in one piece on some of these. It's just too hard. So this is one piece, square piece here. Was able to push down the center, but I had to leave a slit there so that because it's not going to be perfectly straight. Piece there, 2 pieces around the center, and then 1 piece over on this side here. When you start pushing over things like this, it kind of tweaks it all out, so you got to be careful if you want to get it looking all nice and factory look like this. Went ahead and wrapped this one around the edge because this is near the exhaust and the engine. This one is that was under the passenger seat. This one's by the passenger left foot. It stands up like this, and it's an up and down piece. This would be looking at the inside, obviously. And we'd be looking from the front towards the back, kind of towards the seats. Now in the center here, this one was pretty easy, just one big piece. But I did do a second piece here covering 3 ribs going all the way up. Sealed that all up pretty well. Put a little dent here. I think there's a little air cleaner thing that goes right through there. So a couple of pieces I did. 1, 2, and then 3. So 3 pieces on this. Try to keep it clean. Things like this one though, the passenger left knee area, I did 1 piece here, 1 piece here, and then 2 little pieces in the middle here, and then 1 more piece over there with a little slit put in there. So you're doing little pieces here and there. This is the center console cup holder. Just show you that. So you got the cup holder and the shifter over there. So you can see the cup holder area. I ended up used to have indents. You can kind of see them here and there. Just covered that all up and went around. Obviously did the bottom part first. Covered this up. I did 2 layers on this, and what I did is got a big piece around this, measured around it, and then I cut slits from here out and from here out, and each of the 4 corners did the 4 circles. And I'd pull out the sticky stuff only in the center, actually right to the edges, stick it on, and then the side still had the paper on. Then with these cuts, I could just push them down, mark them, cut them with the tin snips here, and so just push them down, use the Sharpie real quick, so basically I just grab my Sharpie and do a quick mark, get my tin snips out, and chop the bottom and leave a little bit of a ledge there. So it was actually pretty quick and easy to do this one. It looks a little more complicated. I did the first layer a little more complicated, got it all perfect edges, but this one I did some overlap. I don't know if you can see it, but there's just a little bit of overlap here, but it looks pretty good when you're all done. And so just chopped all that. These are the drain holes, and again that was the center part. So unfortunately where the shifter is, you got to stay a ways away from that. And then you go to the next one. This is the driver's right knee area. This one is pretty much right over the exhaust. So I did that. This one's a couple of pieces, one piece here, one piece all the way down, and through this whole area that indents. That was pretty tough to do. I don't know if it's worth doing it or not. And then one little add-in piece here. Then you have the under the driver's seat. I did the baggage, the storage box. You can see I went down as low as I could here. This is where the back frame comes through, so I left a little room there around that. Covered up as much as I could in here. You know, like a piece here. You can see you did several pieces. I was able to get one piece in the lower part here, and then another piece starts here, goes up, over, and actually it ended up at the top. And this is still all part of that same piece, but don't know if I recommend doing that. It took a lot of time to do it that way. And then one piece around this whole part. So kind of try to keep it factory look. The back side I wasn't too concerned about because the heat's not over here, but I was doing it more for sound. So this is the back side, and then I did on the very outside. I didn't bother covering anything in there. Just left that when I got down a little bit lower in here. So I just kind of went straight with that and came up around here. This is where the seat, driver's seat metal frame sits in there, so you got to leave that open. And this is where the frame comes across the bottom. You wouldn't hardly notice it. I did ride it a couple hours so far, so I could see the marks on here, very faint, but little wear marks right here and here to see right where it was, and then obviously the drain hole there. Then the last thing I did was the clutch case here, and you can see that was just what I did with this one. Is I started with the center, a big piece, stuck it on the center with like a cutout, so it was stuck on here, but the rest of it had the backing paper on it. And then I would just reach underneath and mark it with a Sharpie and draw straight lines out, cut it, get it laying down, and I just kept working my way around with all these different cut sections. And this is all done out of one piece, so it was quite involved, but it is on there perfect with no bubbles or anything, and so kind of a fun project. It'd be nice if we had templates and somebody could just cut it. At any rate, that's all the pieces. I'm doing a few more little pieces inside the Commander, but this would be 99% of it. Oh, and also I am going to cover up the exhaust pipe with the heat wrap. So that's my next project. Anyway, that's it for doing the wrap on using the Cool It ThermoTec acoustical and heat control products. We'll see you guys later. Signing off.